welcome everyone to the second episode of this three-part series in which this is an exclusive three-part series in which I have an expert, Suchit Majumdar, who is one of India's best product leaders in the product management space. So I'm talking to Suchit about product strategy specifically. In the last episode, we discussed what is product strategy. In today's episode, what we are going to discuss is that if you are looking to, if you as a candidate who's watching this episode, if you are looking to do product strategy, where do you start from? Because we get one of the most often asked question that what are the things that we need to start from? So welcome, Suchit, to the part 2 of this three-part series. The first episode got very good response. So let's hope that this episode goes equally well as well.
Thank you, Manav, for this. And I'm really glad to be a part of this video.
Yeah. So Suchit, help me understand that if I am wanting to transition into product management, right? Or even if I'm a product manager and I'm a technical product manager and I want to do product strategy, where do I start from? Because if you look at it, traditionally, a lot of product managers are usually MBA folks. And although product management is not taught during MBA programs, but you learn the basics of product management are taught in MBA: marketing, user research, consumer research, different aspects of, whatever you do in product management, for example, right? Without mentioning the term, product management. So so if I'm a total novice, I don't know where to start, what should be my starting? And I'm not even, let's say, an MBA, right? Where do I start from if I want to learn product strategy?
I think, as rightly mentioned, MBA does set a lot of foundations in place, and it does give you a lot of information that you really need to know when you are trying to be a good product manager. And given that, I mean, you come pre-prepared with these set of information, making a transition would be a lot easier in the field right now. But however, that doesn't imply that only MBAs can make a cut here. So it's more about the thought process, the mindset that one needs to build that'll help you. That'll help you kind of get there, okay, and ensure that you're able to define good product strategies back in your company. Now, to break it down, what I'll do is I'll possibly give you the 7 steps framework that I can possibly think of right now that can benefit a lot of people. Now, if you start thinking from a 7-step framework that I'm going to talk about right now, that's what is going to kind of help you possibly crack this idea of how product strategy is built. So the first, which is the vision. Okay, so everything boils down to your vision. I mean, if your company leaders are really good at it, they would be able to convey the vision very nicely. Now, as a product manager who's trying to build product strategies, the first thing that I would recommend is please understand the vision properly. The vision should be a starting point. Okay, so once you have that clarity of the vision, okay, that's where you start understanding, okay, what I need to achieve in the longer run. Now, in extension to that, you got to now think on the next 6 steps that I'm going to talk about. So vision is kind of the heart of everything. And from there, you start bifurcating your analysis further. Now, the next 6 points that I'll be discussing, these are points that any product manager would want to kind of focus on and try to explore a little bit early on. Now, if you're still not a product manager, no worries. Start studying about these things in a step-by-step format. So let's say you pick up any product, okay, and think of any strategy that you plan to build, okay, for the vision that you're trying to achieve. In this, you might want to first consider whom are you trying to build this product for, right? So these are your customers, right? So who's the customer? So you got to start with the idea of for whom are you building this? Okay, so till you don't understand for whom you're trying to solve the problem, okay, the what of it will not be very evident, okay? So know your buyers, okay, know your customers, understand their personas, drill down and try to explore a bit detailed about who these people are. Now, this in itself will answer a lot of questions around what are you supposed to build, okay? After that, the second most important point is which type of market are you trying to address, okay? Why is market very important for you? If you're building a product which doesn't have any users, okay, that product really doesn't stand tall in your company. So you got to be practical and think about, okay, what size of the market am I trying to solve the problem for? Okay, so it starts with the why, which is your vision. Okay. And the vision states you why you need to do a certain product or a certain feature. Okay. After that, for whom are you trying to do it, which is your buyers or your customers. Then after that, what is the size of the market, which will ensure that, yeah, if your product is actually meeting a larger base or a very niche base. And after that, you should also start thinking on the lines of what type of strengths do you or your company possess that'll help you get there. So if you understand your strengths well, then execution will become a lot more efficient.
True.
After that, what really matters is the go-to-market plan that you need to build. Okay, so let's say you build a product, but you should have a very well-established plan as to how do you get this product to your customer. Okay, so that is what a go-to-market plan really means. Then along with that, I mean, I may start with strengths. You should also understand your weaknesses as well, because both are equally important. Okay, so if you know your strengths and weaknesses effectively and you have your strategy in place along with a great go-to-market plan, your product can definitely see success. But there's one very important aspect that you should also focus on, which we have not talked about, which is your competitors. Now, if you're building a certain product, you need to see who are the other competitors in the space giving the same service or the same product out there. It is very essential for us to kind of understand, okay, how are we different from them? So what are the differentiator? Why would people believe in your product, or why would they come to you? That's something that you really need to focus hard on. Okay, so these are the 7 points that I would definitely kind of want to iterate once again. I'll summarize it for all of you quickly. So you start with the vision, understand your vision. Okay, then think about the customers. Then you think about the market, then you think about what strengths and weaknesses that your company possesses, and then you build your go-to-market plan accordingly. And then you also ensure that you are taking your competitors into consideration and building differentiators in your product that help you build a good solid moat around your product and make it successful in the market.
Yeah. So Suchit, this looks very exciting, and anyone who is watching this must be very excited that this is what you need to do. So when you spoke about understanding the vision as the first step, this is very, very helpful. And then you spoke about who's your customer and what is the market. So help me understand that all of this seems like common sense, right? You need to understand, but why do product companies have such high hiring barrier then if this is common sense? Because market, customer, competitors, weakness, strengths, etc. of product, you don't need rocket science to do this. Yet, it is very, very difficult to crack great product interviews of good product companies. So help me understand the disparity between what we have just said and what actually is there in the industry.
Yeah, so I think, so this is actually a very true statement that companies do set really high barriers to entry for product management roles. I think partly because, I mean, if you look at it in a very simplistic manner, if the companies, I mean, if you think the soul of a company is about products, okay, you have to be very careful when you hire the people who are going to manage that product for you. Right? Otherwise, the company is going to die in no time. And these are very strategic level, I would say, roles that define the success of your business. And if not done in the right way, it could go other way also. And then your company can shut in no time. Right? So there have been so many cases where we have seen companies die or the products die very fast, right? And as said, right, 99% plus startups fail, right? So the whole point is that's one primary reason why companies are very skeptic as to what kind of talent are they hiring. And that's one primary reason why they set the bars high. But let me come to the second point, which you mentioned, which is also equally interesting, which is common sense, right? The whole challenge is, I mean, if you think about it, common sense, though it should be common, but it's not, it's the other way, right? And very oftentimes, it does happen with a lot of people that we can't see things which are in front of us, right? So, and that's natural. There's nothing to hide there. So what happens is a lot of people who can see things that are right in front of their eyes, but in a more detailed manner. That's what is very essential for a good product strategist. So companies are looking out for such people who can go detailed into it, right? If you ask, okay, why shouldn't I launch in India? And somebody might just come up with a one-line statement that, hey, you know what, India is not a great place right now. That's not something that the companies really want to hear. They want to go deep into it. They want to see qualitative analysis, okay? Qualitative, quantitative. In fact, quantitative is something that a lot of companies really aspire for. So are you capable to do those quality and quantitative analysis further, and you can drill down into that particular point and go deep and analyze and come up with proper insights as to why you're stating that you don't want to launch in India, right? So these are fine things that a lot of people miss out. And that's what I in the 7 steps that I just mentioned before this, that's what I need. If I have to tell somebody, how do you kind of start thinking of product strategy, I would definitely say that start thinking on these points first. And then the more deeper you can go into it, the easier it will be for you to convince your stakeholders why should they follow what you're saying. So I think that's these are the 2 points that I would definitely recommend why it's so hard to kind of crack roles right now. But again, it's not rocket science. Anybody can do it.
Right. So before we wind up, one quick question based on what you just have mentioned. The 7 steps are really powerful for me, as if I'm a new learner, to actually look at strategy and go into vision and then who's my customer and start researching. So how do I go about learning these things? Do I Google? What kind of things should I be looking for, if I want to learn, for example, who's my user, or if I want to understand the fundamentals of customers, understanding your customer. So where do I start from in terms of learning?
So usually, I mean, in fact, the way you started the video, I think that itself gave a rough idea that usually companies hire MBAs for product manager. Now, why are they hiring MBAs? The answer is very simple. It's because they are pre-trained, right? So having the right set of training, I would rather say having a formal training in the space is really important. So it's not that you can't just Google and YouTube and figure out answers to different questions. I mean, you have the entire world's knowledge out there on the internet, but it's just that how smartly can you accumulate it and start focusing on a very planned manner of execution so that you can achieve your end goals. If you start researching online and you start exploring different materials, you can cover a lot of ground, you can learn a lot of things, but it's just that it might take you a lot of substantial time. But if you have some curated plan around, I think that's something that will definitely help you kind of cover that distance faster. It's more like why MBAs actually become managers faster than non-MBAs. Okay, so it's more about being planned in the way you're learning and then focusing on the end outcomes to get there faster. So I think, yeah, definitely, I would highly recommend people to kind of, if you really want to be in the space, get some formal training. That's more important. Otherwise, without any, I would say, roadmap, which possibly we're going to discuss in the next video, without any proper roadmap, you actually end up nowhere. So, or even if you do end up, it takes you a lot of time to get there.
Sure, makes sense. All right, it was great talking to you, Suchit, in this episode, and look forward to seeing you in the 3rd part of this 3-part series, in which we are going to discuss a little bit more into, we are going to discuss a little bit about product road mapping and how to actually become great at product strategy. So thank you so much for this episode, doing this episode, and see you in the 3rd episode.
Thank you, Manav. Looking forward to the 3rd one.